Hi guys, Assalamualaikum. Welcome back to our analysis of Tawarruk unsecured personal financing. If you look at the PDS, what is this product about? The number one over here, you can see that it says this is an unsecured personal financing where the profit is charged on a flat rate basis. So number one, it is unsecured, meaning that the borrower don't have to worry about getting a guarantor to support the facility or to get something as a collateral, to support the financing. So it is a clean, unsecured facility, and therefore the prospective borrower will just have to worry about his income and his period of employment. And at the same time, it is mentioned here that the profit is charged on a flat rate basis. So if we take a facility of 50,000 for 5 years, for example, then add a 10% finance charge. So for 1 year, the profit for the bank would be 10% multiplied by the 50,000. So that would be the 10%. That will be 5,000, and therefore times 5. That would be 25,000 profit over 5 years for the facility of 50,000. So that is what we meant by flat rate. And again, as we see earlier, the PDS have quoted the flat rate of 18% to 24%, depending on the background of the customer. So some customer may have an income of 800, or 1,000 or 2,000. So if those customer having lower income, then it is more risky, I presume, to pay up the obligation, and therefore we presume that the finance charge would be much higher compared to the 18%. So we can look into that issue later on. And then this is, of course, you visit the CIMB website, and there is this to basically attract people to see what's on offering. And then we can see in more detail in the website, or in any website of banking offering. You can see this criteria or information forwarded to the customer. And we got individuals from 31 to 60 years. So, those people after retirement are not eligible, Malaysian citizen, no joint application. And you can see that the minimum gross income is only 800. Right? So this is a suitable facility for the B40 people. So the B40 people, the income is below 3,000. And so this may be one of the opportunity for the B40 people to have access to banking finance. And so that 800 ringgit gross income, including variables like overtime and allowances, and at least 6 months of employment or business establishment. Again, this is a very, I presume, not benevolent, maybe to help the B40 people to be eligible for this kind of facility. So if you got a job 6 months, earlier, then that would be a good opportunity for you to take this facility. A minimum amount offered is 3,000, and then with maximum amount of 50,000, or up to 8 times gross monthly income. So if that B40 customer is having 800 monthly income, and then the most he can borrow will be 8 times 800, which is 3,200. So So that would be the term that would be available for customer, and the profit rate ranges from 18% to 24% per annum, or it is equivalent to the effective profit rate of 28.8% to 41.7% per annum. When we are looking at the effective profit rate, it is here that the compounding of the profit is made on a monthly basis, and that is why the rate is higher than the profit rate of 18% to 24%, because this is quoted on an annual basis. So this is a rate which is based on annual rest, whereas when it is made on monthly rest, so the rate goes up from 28.8 to 41.7%. Okay, so if you look at the idea here, the idea of profit derived from this business, as I have shown earlier in the earlier videos, that the finance charge or the profit rate is the sum of the base rate plus the spread. And when we look at the Banegara base rate guideline, we can see that the spread, can be broken down into several components, which is the overhead, the banking expenditure, the cost of keeping the statutory reserve requirement, and the liquidity reserve requirement. Also, there is a minimum, statutory profit margin that I forgot to put here. And then we got the credit risk premium. So when we look at, let's say, the 18% minimum profit rate quoted by CMB, so that can be seen here as comprising of the base rate, which is the OPR rate, or the 3-month FD rate. So we can use the OPR rate of 2.75% plus overhead, let's say, of 1%, and cost of SRR and LRR of 1%. And then we can see that the credit risk premium is actually very high. It is 13.25%. So this is the finance charge to reflect the credit risk of the customer, right? So why such a high credit risk premium? So again, as we see that this is a risky financing to the bank, because the bank say that this is unsecured or clean, so meaning that there is no need for collateral and guarantor to be brought to the bank for proof. So being unsecured and clean, this financing is risky to the bank, and at the same time, due to the low minimum monthly income, at 800 and at least 6-month employment, so this is also considered to be risky to the bank, meaning that the capacity to pay the debt, is not as good if the customer income is, much higher at the T20 or upper M40. Then that would give some comfort to the bank that the customer will be able to pay a lot more, and at least 6-month employment. So this is again quite a short period of time of employment. So this poses some risk to the bank, and therefore we see that this 13.25% is quite high, and therefore this is what banking is. The profit acquired from the banking business is based on the riskiness of the loan or the riskiness of the facility, and this is one of the example. You see how the bank would be profiting from the provision of financing facility to the poor people, and I considered this B40, at least if the person comes up to take a loan and he got a monthly income of 800 per month, and this is quite a tough condition for him to pay. He may just default and get into bankruptcy, but we do hope that this kind of situation would not happen or prolong. So it is highly discouraged for poor people having 800 monthly income to come to the bank to take a loan and defaulted automatically because they can't afford to pay. So there is a morality here to basically allow or not allow the poor people to take this sort of facility. And if you look at the payment scheduling, let's say if you take Tawarruk facility at 15% and 20% and 24% or 28% over here, so the higher the rate, the more riskier is the exposure. So I presume that the 24% per annum would be charged onto those poorer B40 people having lower income and lower employment status, and therefore they are more risky to the bank, and therefore they will be charged higher profit rate of 24% compared with people who have higher income, let's say 2,000 or or 3,000 with longer employment, and therefore they are less risky to the bank, and they will pay 18% or 18%. So this is how the pricing is basically administered. And then we can see that the bank will of course profit more from the facility at higher finance charge of 24% and so on. So for a facility of 50,000 at 5 years tenure, then the maximum profit the bank will be earning will be 60,000. From $50,000 facility, then the bank will be able to make 60,000 and so on, 45,000 and 50,000. So again, this is something that we need to look into to see that the financing of such facility would not be burdening the B40 people. At least there should be, of course, this is one way how the bank can assist the B40 people. But what I would suspect is that many of these individuals will have hard time to pay based on their minimum income of $800. But again, this will entice many of the B40 people to come in, and this is one way how bank can include the B40 people into their system to benefit from the facility, and hopefully this money can be used to do business or to do small business that can sustain the livelihood of the B40 people. And of course we hear earlier that the government is allowing EPF members to use their saving as collateral for bank loan, and many Islamic banks will be offering the Tawarruk facility. But again, I presume that this is a Tawarruk personal financing which is secured with collateral, and therefore the interest rate or the profit rate will be much lower compared to the one without collateral and guarantors. Alright, so thank you very much for your time. Please share and subscribe. I'll see you again. Assalamualaikum.